All hail Liberia, hail, all hail Liberia, hail. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. Though new her name, great be her fame, and mighty be her power. Though new her name, great be her fame, and mighty be her power. And mighty be her power, and mighty be her power. 1, 2, 3, 4, in joy and gladness, with our hearts united, we'll shout the freedom of our rights united. Long live Liberia, happy land, this home of glory, liberty of God's command. This home of glory, liberty of God's command. All hail Liberia, hail, all hail Liberia, hail. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. Though new her name, great be her fame, and mighty be her power. Though new her name, great be her fame, and mighty be her
Thank you for being part of today's program. Today I'll be having some community leadership, and right after that, as usual, we'll get to some national issue right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you for being part of this program, and as usual, Izzy and Soul here, we want to welcome you. Good evening, folks. We want to welcome all of you here this evening. This is your informative news magazine. The forum it comes your way every Tuesday right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Please join us this evening as usual. We're going to be having some community discussion here this evening. The program going to be in two segments. In the first phase, I will be talking to the leadership There's a big program in the making right here in the Ocean State, my own state of Rhode Island. I will be speaking with the president of the Liberian community of the state of Rhode Island, President Winston Gould, and the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Newton Liberate. They will be joining me here in the first segment here of the honoring program slated to be held, I believe, on the 21st of this month, where the Senator Jack Reed, and other congressional members will be honored by the Liberian community. It's a joint program, according to our understanding. And right after that, we will be going into Liberian politics as well. That is unfolding. As you know, the coronavirus is taking a toll right now. 80 countries, according to the World Health Organization, is now battling this pandemic. And it is unprecedented. And so, in our regular program, Thursday, we're going to be back here with our health Professor Joel. We will be talking on some other issue. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. I'm Alfonso Z. and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV here this afternoon, this evening. Thank you, as usual, for being part of all what we are doing here in the community. And I will be joining us here very shortly. And I soon we're going to get this program going momentarily. But stay tuned. Don't go away. I'm Alfonso Z. and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Here will be coming to you very shortly. Until then, let me just take a quick commercial break. And I will be right back, and we will get this program on the way very shortly.
Coronaviruses are a family of viruses that range from the common cold to MERS coronavirus, which is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, and SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. Coronaviruses are circulating in animals, and some of these coronaviruses have the capability of transmitting between animals and humans. We call that a spillover event. So coronaviruses typically cause respiratory symptoms, so we recommend basic hand hygiene, such as washing your hands with soap and water, and respiratory hygiene, such as when you sneeze, sneezing into your elbow. Ways to protect yourself against a potential animal source would be to avoid unnecessary, unprotected contact with live animals, and to make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly after contact with an animal, and also to make sure that your meat is cooked thoroughly before consuming. There are no specific treatments for coronaviruses, but symptoms can be treated. Coronaviruses are a family of viruses that range from the common cold to MERS coronavirus, which is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, and SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome.
There you have it. That's a little quick educational outreach there to our listeners and followers. That's what we prioritize here on the Liberia Public Radio. I believe my guests are all standing by. Gentlemen, are you there?
We call that a spillover event.
Yeah, okay. Just if you have your monitor on that, you have to kind of like lower it because I'm getting the feedback, so that way we will get the audio. Okay, well, folks, I want to welcome you to joining me right here in the Ocean State of Rhode Island. There are two community leaders, the national president, and also the chairman of the board of directors. Board of directors of LIBERIA, that's the Rhode Island Community Association right here. There's a big program in the making, and so I'm going to be having them here to talk about it. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Welcome.
All right. Okay. So let me just go to it for the benefit of my listening audience. I would then ask President Gould or Chairman Libera to introduce himself. But for the benefit of our listening audience, let me go to the President. Mr. President, do you mind introducing yourself before we get this program going?
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for having me on your show. As you know, my name is Winston Gould, and Personally, for this program, I'm in the role as the chairman of the Jack Reef Honoring Foundation. So, you know the rest.
Okay. All right. I guess you guys are closer. That's why the audio is coming by. But if you can do me a favor by just lower your volume from your end completely, and that will give me a sense. And Mr. President, if you can push further on your left hand side, so that we will get the full picture of you. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm referring to you. Okay. Yeah, just push on your left hand side. That way, we'll get to you.
Good?
Yeah, all right, now it's much better. But can you guys lower your monitor? I'm not sure whether you're listening to something there, but I know you guys closer. I believe that's the
Yeah.
echo. That's why the echo is coming in. Uh, Someone, is there a way that you can distance from one another? I believe that's what I'm getting the echo. Are you there? Okay. All right. We will manage it. Let me go to the chairman himself also to see if we can get him on to introduce himself as well, and we will get to this by product. Okay, Mr. Chairman. Hello. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Well, my name is Nathan Namberlatro. I'm currently serving as the chairman for the Liberian Community Association. It's an honor and a privilege to be in the program. We thank you for this opportunity. We feel that as a community, we need to continue to do this outreach as much as possible. And so we want to use this medium. We want to thank you for your listening audience and yourself for affording us this opportunity as well.
Okay, well, guys, welcome. As usual, we always hear that's part of our commitment. We sign up to want to welcome all our viewers and listeners wherever you are. The second segment, after speaking with this gentleman, as usual, we will be talking on Liberian's issue. And of course, we want to welcome our analyst, Mr. Amos George, and all of those folks that are watching you. Okay, let's get the cat out of the bag. Let's get to the discussion here quickly here. What is the date of this program, this honoring program? Massive preparation seems to be ongoing.
The program is scheduled for March 21st. It starts at 12 midday until 12 midnight.
12 May,
Um,
12 May Day.
we're gonna, yes, until 12 midnight. The whole process at 12 midnight. So, uh,
So,
at 2 p.m.
mhm.
I'm trying to give you a little breakdown of the program,
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
gist of it. Yeah, so we're gonna meet there. Everybody's gonna be seated at 12:30. The culture troop will be there
Can
to
you lower
entertain
your,
us.
is it possible to lower the monitor?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
I guess you guys are much closer, right? So it's like one person microphone echo is going to the other one.
Yeah, that was close.
Are you there? Are you
Yeah,
there?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as I was saying, that we're gonna do the culture. I mean, people gonna be seated at 12:30,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna have entertainment from the culture troop. And then at 2 o'clock, the senators should be in at it by that time, and we'll start the actual honoring program.
So, for those that are outside of
And
Rhode Island, and any of you guys can jump in here because I believe this is a joint team here. For those that are even outside of Rhode Island or even within Rhode Island, what is the significance of this program?
Um, significance of this program is to honor Jack, and the reason we are doing it in Rhode Island first because this is the senator hometown, and the bill was passed. Was first introduced on the floor by Jack Reed and Senate and Representative Patrick Kennedy. But later on, Patrick Kennedy got ill and he left the Congress. So Jack Reed continued to push the bill until Friday, December 20th, 2020, when Donald Trump finally signed the bill. So it was at that point that we in Rhode Island decided to take up the cause and honor the senator and the representative first before anybody else can go ahead and do what they want to do in the various states. So that's what made it so significant because this is the hometown.
Okay, so let me bring in Chairman Nathan. Mr. Chairman, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, and folks, please bear. Seems to be there. I kind of much a little bit closer, so we having this audio interfering here. So, Mr. Chairman, tell us how is the preparation in terms of the board support to the administration to get this job done?
Well, overall, I think we've talked about the restructuring of the organization. So the organization now is basically heavily board focused, if you will, and with an acting executive director right now. But our primary objective here is to plan this program to suit the needs of us Liberians. What do I mean by that? The Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act is uniquely Liberian, and so our focus now is to actually do it in a cultural way. So, as the chairman spoke earlier about the cultural significance of the program, we have at least 3 or 4 people here in the state who actually were the original architect of the bill, and we'll be honoring them as well. So these people will be the ones that we will honor here as well before we honor the senators. And why did we decide to do it here in Rhode Island in March? So let's talk about that. March is usually the congressional break, so we decided to do it in March, so give everyone the opportunity to be able to come down and help us honor these people. Uh, Other people decided to talk about July 26th. Why did you guys July 26th is probably more preferable. The reason we didn't do July 26th is to afford other opportunities to delegates as well. And so we decided to do that. The program is going to be a short program. The official program is from 12 to 4 p.m. Essentially, the honoring itself starts at 2 p.m., but we want people to be seated at least by 12, and then we can go from there. We have the governor will be here, the mayor will be here, the secretary of state will be there, our local state treasurer will be there, our lieutenant governor will be there, all the congressional leaders will be there as well. And we have people from ULA. We have, I think, their Liberian ambassador coming. We want to do this full force where we can actually make it a true Liberian thing as well.
You're talking about honoring. Besides the senators of Rhode Island, who are some of the congressional members that are expected to be honored at this program?
So we have former Representative Patrick Kennedy, who will be here as well. We have Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. We have Congressman David Cicilline, who will be here, who's originally from the state as well. Representative Jim Langevin will be here. We've sent a communication out to Congressman Donald Payne Jr. From New Jersey. We've sent communications out to Keith Edison from Minnesota. We're hoping they'll come down. We had a communication from Congresswoman Ola Omar's office, who stated that she couldn't be here for some personal reasons. So, and we understood. We're expecting her to be here. We expect a council person, our own Liberian brother from Minnesota, to be here as well, and we expect Mayor Cullen to be here as well.
Oh wow! So that seems to be a very huge program. Okay, Mr. President, let me bring in President Go in here. Mr. President, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how is the preparation so far?
Well, the preparation is going well. We already have the gown on the way from Liberia already. We were able to purchase a gown, full gown, cocktail. I mean, we're trying to make this thing so
What are
unique
you
that you
talking
can
about?
just
Cowtail.
go
You're
inside
taking
and
my
just
cowtail to give it to who?
to Omer Jerry.
uh, yeah. Oh wow. I
Bring
think
that cocktail to Omer.
Jaggery. I think that would be at.
Yes,
I think it would be a wonderful ceremony. So and I heard you saying
it
there will
will
be some
be.
culture performances, correct?
Yes. What another important thing we will be doing on that day, we will be getting a old traditional person from Liberia to give the senator a name, and that person will be someone who cannot even speak English. It's a lady now who knows. She's pastor for one of the Bible church. She preaches in Crown, and that's the old lady we want to come and actually give the senator his traditional name.
Wow. What is
Whatever she said
what
will
would that
be
name be?
interpreted. All she gotta tell us. We're gonna ask. We're gonna give. It's gonna be her responsibility to find a name, one of her chief from that country, from that town, right?
Wow. So okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Chairman,
sir.
So
yeah, this is quite interesting. What is the essence of that? What is this administration or what is the Liberian communities trying to demonstrate here?
Well, what we're trying to demonstrate is essentially is that for more than 28 years, and I think the last time we had this interview, you actually posted a snippet of Senator Reid. Every year on the floor for 28 years, Senator Reid was able to present the Liberia Refugee Immigration Fairness Act on the floor for 28 unbroken years. How do we pay that man back? We have to essentially make him a part of us. So why did we pick a female? Essentially, we're in the month of this is a national women's month, if you will. There's opportunity for women to to showcase themselves. Why did we decide someone who probably couldn't even speak English? Because we wanted to make it uniquely Liberian. The reason we want to do that is because we wanted to showcase where we come from. This bill is not the African refugee fairness, Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act. We have to show these people our culture, where we come from, our innate ability as Liberians to relate to them on so many different levels. And so that's why we decided to do that. And we're hoping that we can get this person that will be there and actually, when we're done, you talk about your cowtail, right? We wanted someone to offer him a cowtail. We want someone to actually give him the gown. We want someone to give him the name. The Liberian ambassador will be here. We're given a plaque, but that's not enough for us. We want to go further and do it in a more traditional fashion and actually give him a name that's something that we can relate to down the road and as Liberians.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So, what is the level of preparation in terms of people turning out? What is the administration, the board of directors? What is the reception and getting feedback from citizens? First and foremost, in Rhode Island, neighboring to Rhode Island, Massachusetts, the Connecticut. How far is this information has gone?
the preparation is moving very far. I've been in close contact with almost 30 different organizations, Liberian Community Association in the country. But within, I would say, people are responding overwhelmingly. They are preparing themselves, getting ready for next week's Saturday for the press. Are getting called. Financial contribution is going. As we told you the last time, we had a budget of $15,000, and our true and beloved community is doing the best they can to meet that budget. Right now, we wrote letters out to ask Liberian to co-sponsor this program, and everybody who receive a letter is responding favorably to that cause. In the letter, we asked Mr. and Mistress to donate a minimum of $100, and those Mr. and Mistress, even Mr. or Miss, is donating minimum $50 to the cause. I even got your letter. So
You get my what?
your letter.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I don't have a zip code,
Yes.
so I don't know how that letter gonna reach you. Okay, but that's quite interesting.
Don't
So
worry about it.
yeah,
You,
yeah. I'm just kidding. I mean, this is a community initiative. We all have to support it. But what's the venue of this program? And is there any fees attached to it to go to this board? 15,000. Somebody that is listening out there will say, that's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. So that's what makes it a lot, because that's how we go into the community and ask them to co-sponsor the function, because we don't want to put any fees. We don't have any fees. So you get up on Saturday, become your nice African, and then you walk in
So
and you have a seat.
wait a minute.
Food, drinks, everything is free.
Is attending the functions is what, free of charge, no payment? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yes. It is a community that funding the program, so I don't think we should charge for that.
Yeah. Okay. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, let me just bring you in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I know because the audio here this evening look a little bit. It look a little bit
Once I
horrible
lower your stuff a little bit, please.
because most of you think you're sitting there. Okay, hopefully let's see it will be okay. Yeah, let me bring you to this is a community, and I know there's a lot going to be invested inside. What is the return in terms of after this program, or are we just looking at the honoring aspect?
No, so we're looking at a budget of around $15,000 plus or minus. Depending on what we come up with, the program will be free and open to the public for free, if you will. Essentially, the whatever we have left over, and hopefully we can raise funds, or maybe in the future do something. We've actually earmarked currently 4 Liberians who are actually they unfortunately don't have the funds to actually apply, even though they benefited from this program. They don't have the opportunity to actually apply based on the funding available. We've worked with the International Institute of Rhode Island, or Dorcas International Place, as it's called now. So essentially, they're going to need the 1225, the $1,225 to apply for their status change. What we want to do is to use some of that money as leverage to actually help them. In the future, we want to host maybe some kind of food sale, something to be able to help these. We've earmarked 4 people at this time. There might be more people out there, and we're asking them to come forward so we can be able to add them to the list and actually help them. So the money may seem astronomical at this time, but essentially that's not the case. By the time we're done with the pre-preparation and getting people on board to do all these different things, and so many we spend less than that. We want to put that money back and actually serve our people like we've always done in our community.
Wow, that's quite interesting, and I think this is quite fascinating. Would there be any Liberian or any person within the community too expected to be honored, Mr. President?
Sure, we are going to be honoring the three uh, Liberians that was the architect of the bill, including the President Lady Bush, who was the recipient of the first TPS. She was then president at the time, and during her administration, the whole TPS process started. So we will be honoring her as well. But the Liberians to be honored will be Moses Silver, Donald Norris, and Margaret Rare. They were the architect of this whole bill that was named Republican candidate Jack Reed. There's one person we're gonna be on, but I'm not gonna call his name, but he played a high role also in the process.
What his first name?
Nothing.
Is that a secret part or who is that
No,
person?
it's not
So
secret. Essentially, what we're trying to do is we've always had a strong
other names has
community
been
association.
unveiled, Mr. Chairman. So, but is this person being informed already of because it's a huge one?
No, not at all.
So how does he?
Not at
How,
all.
is
As a
that he or
committee, we
she?
decided that no, no, sir, not at all. As a committee, we decided that after we looked at the entire package and the caliber of people in there, we felt that this person deserved because they were an intricate part of the entire process as well. They don't know it yet. We're not going to mention their names or name. I'm sorry, but we will definitely get to that point. And hopefully, I mean, we're reaching out that let people come on board. This is hopefully not. It's a surprise to this person, not to us. But as a planning committee, we decided to include this person in the honoring as well. So you will get to know it because you're going to be part of our program. Hopefully, we can kind of come up with some understanding with your people, so you can actually cover us. We're going to do a bunch of other outreach to get some other press people involved in the process. We want a uniquely Liberian again. So what's more uniquely Liberian than LPR radio?
All right, that's quite interesting. Hopefully, because I know that it's a very huge event. I don't know whether I'm the one going to be honored, whether that miracle they're going to take place. I don't know, but I think what is interesting here, though, is a very special event, and I believe there must be some sort of hair ups for that person to he or she to get prepared. But whatever the situation is, but what is the level of cooperation so far when it comes to this function here, Mr. President, the chairman in your own community? What's the level of cooperation that you have received so far?
I am amazed with the level of cooperation because people are responding, they are preparing, they are gearing up. Like I think financially, they are. You only think about Liberian, they always pay the money or made a donation last minute to time. But I'm getting called today from yesterday, and people have given promises to reach out to them and get a donation. Another thing about us, when we are going to look for the people to come and pick it up, we hand it to you. So what I'm doing in the evening, I get in my car and I make my phone call first, and then I drive around and go and pick up these checks from sources. Also, on the entertainment aspect of it, we have one of Liberia's finest artists from Minnesota. He now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Will be here. The name is uh, D12. D12, who made one of the famous songs, Quebec. He made the other one, Jump Over It. So he's gonna be here too to grace the occasion. He's coming down on Saturday. He will be one of the entertainers. We have the Moga Bay there. We got some funded state of Rhode Island who gonna keep us busy, dancing, jumping, laughing, and everything. So I mean, I'm excited right now for how far the planning. So we expect a whole lot on that day.
Okay, well,
Just to add to that, because of the importance of this build, all um, the advocacy group around the country, like Africa United or Undocumented Black, lawyers for lawyers from Boston, people are coming to be a part of this uh, great and historic event. They have reached out to us and we have confirmed with them they're going to be here. What we intend to do, we appreciate them because those are the people who are buying tickets for Liberia to come from Minnesota to Washington, D.C. to advocate, to tell their stories. The organization are doing that. The lawyers in Boston are taking these people to Washington, D.C. to tell stories to Congress. So what we're doing in return, we are preparing a plaque for each organization that will be here under the order. So we're talking about 15,000 budget. All of those things add the budget up to what we're talking about.
Okay, let me break in the chairman. Hopefully, folks, just bear with us because they are in a close range, and so we are having a sort of echo type feedback there. But notwithstanding that, we will do everything possible we can. So, Mr. Chairman, I know the president went through the program. It starts on Friday or is it a Saturday?
Well, essentially, we want to do a meet and greet for our people coming from out of state on Friday. So if you come and you need there may be somewhere to get the itinerary or to kind of find out what's happening in the town, we have at least something going on Friday night, Friday evening. Hopefully at John Hope, as it states right now, depending on the volume or velocity of people we have coming in the state, we will set up the kind of confirmation we have from them. At least by next week, we know how to set up our that ground, if you will. On Saturday will be the program itself, and I just wanted to kind of emphasize what the we with this young man, and he jumped aboard. This guy decided he wasn't going to do it for any funding. All we had to do as an organization was to actually bring him on board and actually help him get to the state, which of course I think is decent enough. That's how he makes his living, and so he's consented coming down, and he will be here with other people. We've also talked, like he said, some lawyers from Boston, lawyers for human rights. We've talked to I think the Catholic group, the Episcopalian group. All these people will be here. All these organizations that actually assisted Liberians in the process will be here as well.
So, what time this program starts on Saturday?
It's going to be at starts at 12 p.m. 12 noon. I'm sorry, 12 noon. The honoring itself starts at 2 p.m. But if people who say 12, they show up at this time. So we want everyone to see at least by 12 p.m. 12 noon.
By 12 noon, the program gonna get underway. Wow, that would be quite interesting. What's the venue again? Jefferson Boulevard on Capitol Hill. Is that a place?
70 Jefferson Street.
Or 70 Jefferson Street. Okay, those of you in Rhode Island, the address is 70 Jefferson Street. We will try to also share that information with folks just to make sure that they know it. But if you are in Rhode Island, I will try as much as possible to do the post. Folks, just bear with us because the audio is somehow, because my guest there seems to be kind of close out and operating on two separate devices, so it get that sort of echo going in and coming out. But bottom line, there will be an honoring program of Senator Jack Reed, Representative David Cicilline, and other congressional members. We are also hearing some Liberians that have given back to the community to get this TPS thing done. It wasn't a one-person initiative. There were a lot of people putting time and energy to resources. They never gave up by shine, rain, snow. They were always in it to get this done. Mr. President, are you there? Mr. President, are you there? President Go?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So, and what could be the word to other folks here? What are you hearing from some of your other Liberians, people that are out of state, in terms of them turning out?
Oh, I know from Minnesota, there's about 10 people who are confirmed. From Trenton, New Jersey, they are from the administration. There are 11 of them confirmed they'll be here. From Staten Island, New York, he had the number of 10, but he was still getting more. So we're looking at other states. These official about 70 to 80 people.
Wow, 70 to 80. That's huge. And the program starts on Friday. That will be the 20th?
The 20th.
The 20th. Yes, sir.
And then the 21st. Any activities for the on Sunday?
Well, no. What we want to do, I will ask that the chairman and the administration and the rest of the people will be around, visit my church on that day because my church, the Second Freeway Baptist Church, have been very friendly to us. We had all our meetings there since the whole thing started. So I invite them officially to worship with me on that day.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, there you have it. That will be a honoring program. Because of my guests, they are kind of like close. So hopefully, we will do before the program. The program is that next week? Is that next weekend?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think for the most part, I think we have all of the information on hand. We will try to share those information as possibly as we can. And if you are the beneficiary or not even a beneficiary, but this whole TPS has been a heartbeat of all of us. It doesn't matter whether your status is right, but I just think about your brothers and sisters that were facing deportations every now and then, every year or every other time. You have to renew your paper. You gotta get out of job. It was really stressful, and people really work hard to reach at this point. So if you are out of town and you feel that this is something, it was a national cause, it is also important that you come and form part of this. Follow this process, and so how can those who have not contributed, how can they reach out with the administration?
They can reach out by calling my number 401 640
Mhm.
They also can go look on the flyers. There are contact numbers on the flyers also, and call those numbers and reach out to us. Will be if that, like I say, if you call me, I will come.
Okay. All right, Chairman, do you have any other word before I go to my last segment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before we leave, also we have our handle on Cash App is the $ LCARI.
Mhm.
They can make donations there as well if they wanted to, just to help their brothers and sisters. And we want to thank you. We thank all our planning committee folks, people that are behind the scenes working diligently to make this program a success. We want to thank our planning chairman, Pastor Farley, and his church and his team for every work they've done so far. And we just want to also emphasize that even though this whole coronavirus thing is buzzing in the air, for people to heed precaution and actually take directions from their leadership in their communities, from their government, and all these different things, and just be safe out there. We wish them all the best, and God bless.
Mr. President, is there any final word?
Well, final word is I'd like to say thank you very much for being a great help in trying to pass on the information for this whole program. This is the second time you have done that, and if you find a need that you can squeeze her in for another day before the program, we'll be very happy also. And to the Liberians who are responding to our calls, the unique thing here is that we don't really know the beneficiary. The people who are already settled are the ones who are responding heavily. And I'd like to extend my special thanks and appreciation to all of them for the $5, the $10, the $100, the bag of rice, for everything they contributing to this project. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. And we will be following development. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Madam President, I would
Thank you, sir.
request unanimous consent to dispense with the calling of the quorum.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise today, as I have many times for nearly 2 decades, to shed light on the long struggle of Liberian refugees in the United States, and to make the case for this administration to extend deferred enforced departure, or DED, for this population before they face potential separation from their jobs and families and deportation when their current DED designation expires on March 31st. I also call on my colleagues to take up and pass the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act, which I have offered in some form for as long as I have served in this body, to end nearly 30 years of uncertainty by finally giving these Liberians the opportunity to apply for permanent residency and a pathway to citizenship. I would also like to take a moment to express my gratitude for those advocates who have stood with me as I worked for a solution for Liberians in America, including my Rhode Island colleague, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, as well as our colleagues from Minnesota, Senators Klobuchar and Smith. The case of these Liberians is a tragic and historically unique situation. In 1989, a 7-year civil war broke out in Liberia that would claim the lives of over 200,000 people and displace more than half of the Liberian population. This conflict devastated Liberia, halting food production, collapsing the nation's economy, and destroying its infrastructure. By 1991, an estimated 14,000 Liberians fled to the United States seeking refuge from the conflict, and in March of that year, the Attorney General granted them the opportunity to register for Temporary Protective Status, or TPS. Every subsequent administration has renewed TPS for Liberians each year until the end of the first Civil War. But the prospects for a safe return ended when Liberia plunged into a second civil war from 1999 to 2003. This horrific conflict ended with the departure from power of former President Charles Taylor, who is currently serving a 50-year prison sentence by the Special Court of Sierra Leone for war crimes. In 2014, Liberia's still poverty-stricken and recovering infrastructure faced the challenge of responding to the Ebola virus outbreak in West Africa. Liberia had fewer than 200 licensed doctors to contend with the outbreak among the country's population of over 4 million people. Throughout this succession of conflict and tragedy, Liberians who sought refuge in the United States have had the option to remain here lawfully under TPS or DED, while conditions remain unstable in Liberia. But this is not amnesty. In order to participate, these Liberians are required to pass periodic background investigations, pay hundreds of dollars in fees, and stay out of trouble with the law. Many of these Liberians who have been through this process for decades are perhaps among the most vetted and rigorously examined individuals in the United States today. They have also received work authorizations, enabling them to work and start businesses, pay taxes, and raise families. Many have fully grown American citizen children who attend American schools and serve in our military. At the same time, they have not been afforded earned benefits available to American citizens. So they were responsible for their taxes, they were responsible to conduct themselves as law-abiding citizens, but they are not building up any type of Social Security benefits or any other benefits that other American workers are. In the years since 1989, they have become our neighbors, our friends, and an important community that contributes a great deal to the diversity and prosperity of states like Rhode Island. Today, Liberia has only just completed its first democratic transition.
Hello, how you doing? This is Uncle Musa, the owner of Uncle Musa Grocery in Philadelphia. The first store is Uncle Musa Grocery, Philadelphia, 6523 Wallen Avenue. And Uncle Musa Urban Faction, 6519 Wallen Avenue. And Uncle Musa Grocery, 804 Gary Road, Upper Darby, Philadelphia. We carry all African products, food, clothing, mostly Liberian food. If you need anything from Liberia, just call Uncle Musa Grocery. You can go to Google. If you say Uncle Musa Grocery, Google will take you ahead to show you where to get us. So whatever you need from Liberia, if you go to any Uncle Musa Grocery, we will make sure you get what you want. And if you want to send rice to Liberia, we will send rice to Liberia and deliver to your family. They don't need to pick it up. And if you decide for them to pick up to our store in Morovia too, we have a store in Cow Factory. You can pick it up there, but mostly we deliver rice to your family member, and we send money to Liberia. All over the world, we send money. So welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery anytime. I'll make sure all my workers and myself, we have a very good customer service. You'll be taken care of the way you want it. And we have a clothes from Dubai, India, and China. We carry all that. We carry lappers, very good lappers. Quality one from Holland, whatever you want from Uncle Musa Grocery or Uncle Musa Home Infection,
Yes,
you can get it.
this is Uncle Musa and Grocery Enterprise here, and I mean is well equipped with a lot of goods, African goods, anything you want, you know, especially many supplies that we have for our programs in the church community. We've been having a lot of programs, especially community gathering, fundraising program. We get all our goods here, anything we want. And so African goods like cassava leaf, potato grain, those are the things that we use, you know, for our African program here. So we get everything here. And so especially you bring in a lot of supply for our church program, a lot of instruments from Africa, salsa, samba, and even the motor pencils and everything from Africa. We get everything here. Even the lappers and other material that the women in the church get, we get everything from his store here. So his store is well equipped with a lot of goods, you know, it's well full with a lot of material that you want here. Palm butter, you know, a lot of things, rice, you know, fish. We get everything here. And you have a lot of stores. You have about 4 different stores here. You have these stores and the other lab store that you see here with clothing and shoes, you know, other materials you will see in the lab store. And the first store that he has under the tree there. And so you will see a lot of things there, cassava leaf, potato green. So this one is filled with a lot of cassava leaf, potato green. You have one of the stores in Upper Darby. It's filled with a lot of goods too, similar thing. So you see deeper from African yam and plantains, and the same thing you see all around. So that you see rice over there, and a lot of material you see. And so even the direct wearings, you see everything here from Africa. And so it's African and Caribbean enterprise here. Yeah.
Calling all Saints and Friskies, we're shutting down the ATL on Memorial Day weekend with 3 days of activities for the whole family. Day 1, the Masquerade Ball. Day 2, annual business meeting and evening of elegance with special guest performance by D12. Day 3, Family Day and fundraiser, culminating with the all pink and white jazz night. So tell a Frisky, tell a friend, tell a saint. For more information, visit us at www.stcspHS.com or call 404-317-7122 or 404-593-8961. See you there. Calling all Saints and Friskies, we're shutting down the ATL on Memorial Day weekend with 3 days of activities.
These are some of our sponsors, and we always like to bring that. That's Uncle Musa's store. It's right there in Philadelphia. It's anywhere, anytime, anything that you need from Africa as well. Uncle Musa is always there to get that done. So once you reach the Uncle Musa store, you will get anything that you want. You want bad potter say you will get it. You know, those who still eating sino, you still can get it. He's a great guy, and we want to really thank him for his patronage. The second one there is if you are a graduate or alumni or alumnate of the St. Patrick's and St. Teresa's Convent, they will be having their homecoming in Atlanta, Georgia. Famous and legendary D-Tour will be there. It is amazing. We just got in contact with those folks recently. And you know, the notion and the mindset that Liberians in the diaspora are not doing anything is it's an illusion. It's false. People are just not honest. But I see one of the reasons why people are making that sort of talking point. Because one, they do not receive physical cash for themselves, something for the community. They don't even see it as being, they don't appreciate that because they want you to send $50 or $100 or $75 individually. But St. Patrick's, and I'm going to be hosting the president here, and D12 will be here, the president of the St. Patrick's St. Teresa Convent. You know, those days, Cathedral, they would, is the private schools, Catholic schools. And my understanding, and from what I'm seeing from the words and website of their engagement, will be contacting our guys to verify, to authenticate those information. Pretty close to almost $300,000 project, rebuilding of St. Patrick's High School. And for somebody to sit there to say people in the diaspora are not doing anything, it's disturbing. Very, very disturbing. They've been disingenuous. They've been very unpatriotic. And not just on the St. Patrick. There are other people here who are making the difference, who are investing into other people's lives. Not necessarily they know them. But can you imagine what I saw on the official website? 300,000 plus US dollars rebuilding of St. Patrick's High School. So that's the alumni of St. Teresa's Convent and that of St. Patrick's. They will be having the reunion in Atlanta, Georgia. And D12 will be there as part of the program to carry on their fundraisers to complete their project. But next Thursday, D12 will be making a first appearance here, as well as the president of the Alumni Association, Mr. Kofa, will also be here for us to go in depth of their initiative. But again, the mindset of Liberians and other people who are just making a conclusion without having an idea, without then investigating the investment. Liberians that have come overseas, be it the U.S., Europe, or other parts. But I want to be a little bit specific here. I know much about those that are here and some other individual. And that's what I plan to bring this gentleman who always shows different. It's been he's disproportionate in news because you should also go out to find out or ask questions. Some of the investments. There are some people building stores. They are building, doing different variety of things. All right. So don't just go and present one aspect of something that you lay hand on and you draw the conclusion to say that's just all it. I think it's very, 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 very much unfair. Well, I came across a video and this explorer, and it was quite fascinating because we Liberians sometimes we just do not value our own and we do not see it, but other people see way ahead of it. I want you to see this video, here. Africa, let me make sure it's here. Africa most educated president, the 10th educated president in Africa as of the year 2019. So that is more current. It's quite fascinating. I want you to listen to that. We're going to have a discussion. And according to what front page is saying, I'm trying to see if possible for us to connect with our correspondent inside Banga as well. Another incident is again involving another journalist, our understanding through FM and EPS. According to what front page is saying, is Muslim journalist, and he has a method of doing a wrongly handling journalists in Africa, or specifically Liberia. But let's watch this documentary here that tells us about the 10th most educated president in Africa. I'm Afonso Zian Sword, and I will be right back.
Welcome to Displore and thanks for watching. In this video, we shall be taking a look at the top 10 most educated African presidents. The leaders of nations play a great role in deciding the future of the nation. A nation can progress only through decisions of smart and educated leaders. Many nations fail because they have leaders with less knowledge and intellect to make the right decisions for their country. Intelligence and education, as we all know, are indispensable components of good leadership. According to Plato, one of the ancient philosophers, it is believed that a learned leader stands a better chance of doing well more than his uneducated counterpart. Although African countries are rated as underdeveloped countries with sometimes less than general average literacy level, we see a lot of the most highly educated leaders coming from Africa. Over the years, Africa has had some of the most educated presidents in the world, and here are the current ones. Before we dive into the countdown, if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Here are the top 10 most educated African presidents in 2019. Number 10. Paul Biya, President of Cameroon. Paul Biya is the second president of the Republic of Cameroon, having resumed office since 1982, and for more than 36 years he has been at the helm of the country. He was born in Vomeka, a small village in the south region of Cameroon. He studied at Lycée Général Leclerc in Yaoundé, where he obtained a baccalaureate, and in France at Lycée Louis le Grand in Paris, going on to Institut des Hautes Études d'Outre-mer, where he graduated in 1961 with a higher education diploma in public law. He's currently one of the most educated presidents in Africa, as well as the second longest serving president on the continent. Number 9. George Carlos Fonseca, President of Cape Verde. George Carlos Fonseca is a Cape Verdean politician, lawyer and university professor who has been president of Cape Verde since 2011. He served as Minister of Foreign Affairs from 1991 to 1993. Supported by the Movement for Democracy, he won the 2011 presidential elections in the second round of voting. George Fonseca completed his primary and secondary education between Praia and Mindelo, and later his higher education in Lisbon, Portugal. He has a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Lisbon in Portugal and a master's degree in legal science, Faculty of Law from the same university, making him one of the most educated current African presidents. Number 8. Hage Geingob, President of Namibia. Hage Geingob is the third and current president of Namibia. He's been in office since the 21st of March 2015. Geingob was the first Prime Minister of Namibia from the 21st of March 1990 to the 28th of August 2002, and served as Prime Minister again from the 4th of December 2012 to the 21st of March 2015. He received his early education at Otavi in Southwest Africa under the Bantu education system. He later joined the Augustinium, where most of today's prominent political leaders of Namibia were educated. President Geingob has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Fordham University, New York, and a Master of Arts in International Relations from Graduate Faculty in the New School, New York. Number 7. George Weah, President of Liberia. George Weah is a former professional footballer currently serving as the 25th President of Liberia, having taken office in 2018. Prior to his election as president, Weah served as senator for Montserrado County. During his football career, he played as a striker and is the first and only African player to have won the FIFA Ballon d'Or. Weah attended Muslim Congress and High School at Wales Hairston High School. He has a BA in Sports Management from Parkwood University in London. George Weah also has a degree in Business Administration from DeVry University in Miami, and a master's degree in management from Keller's Graduate School of Management, putting him on the list of the most educated presidents in Africa. Number 6. Faure Gnassingbe, President of Togo. Faure Gnassingbe is a Togolese politician who's been the president of Togo since 2005. Before assuming the presidency, he was appointed by his father, President Gnassingbe Eyadema, as Minister of Equipment, Mines, Post and Telecommunications, serving from 2003 to 2005. He became the president of Togo in 2005 after the death of his father. Gnassingbe is one of the most educated presidents in Africa. He has a degree in financial management from the University of Sorbonne in France, and a master's degree in business administration from George Washington University in the United States. Number 5. Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, President of Mali. Ibrahim Keïta is a Malian politician who has been the president of Mali since 2013. Previously, he was the Prime Minister of Mali from 1994 to 2000 and the President of the National Assembly of Mali from 2002 to 2007. He founded the political party Rally for Mali in 2001. His administration focuses on one key goal, and that is to eliminate corruption entirely from the country. For this reason, he swears not to tolerate even the slightest dishonesty. Ibrahim Keïta studied at Lycée Janson de Sailly in Paris and Lycée Askia Mohammed in Bamako. He fathered at the University of Dakar, the University of Paris 1 and the Institut d'Histoire des Relations Internationales Contemporaines. Ibrahim Keita has 3 degrees in Political International Relations, History and Political Science, including graduate degree in Political Science and International Relations. He also has a master's degree in History. Number 4. Alassane Ouattara, President of Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara has been President of Ivory Coast since 2010. He was born on the 1st of January 1942 in Zimbokro. His academic qualifications and experiences in financial institutions seem to have given him the best chance to succeed in his presidential bid. Luckily, The Economist hasn't disappointed in showing strength in reviving and sustaining Ivory Coast's economic situation, with its economic growth ranked as one of the biggest in Africa. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in 1965 from the Drexel Institute of Technology, which is now called Drexel University in Philadelphia. Ouattara then obtained both his master's degree in economics in 1967 and a PhD in economics in 1972 from the University of Pennsylvania. Number 3. Peter Mutharika, President of Malawi. Peter Mutharika is a Malawian politician, educator and lawyer who has been president of Malawi since the 31st of May 2014. Mutharika has worked globally in the field of international justice. He is an expert on international law, international economic law, and comparative constitutional law. Peter Mutharika has a good academic qualification that partly won him a seat at Malawi's presidency in 2004. Mutharika received his law degree from the University of London in 1965. He then received his LLM and PhD degrees from Yale University in 1966 and 1969 respectively. As a professor, he has taught in the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, Haile Selassie University in Ethiopia, Rutgers University in the United States, and the United Nations Institution for Training and Research Program for Foreign Service Officers from Africa and Asia at Makerere University in Uganda, and for 37 years at Washington University in the USA, and has served as an academic visitor at the London School of Economics, UK. He also served as advisor to the American Bar Association's Rule of Law Initiative in Africa. Number 2. King Mohammed VI of Morocco. Mohammed VI is the King of Morocco. He is a member of the Alawid dynasty and ascended the throne on the 23rd of July 1999 upon the death of his father, King Hassan II. As the King of Morocco, he is the superpower of Morocco and the one in charge of appointing the Prime Minister of the country. Mohammed completed his primary and secondary studies at Collège Royal and obtained his baccalaureate in 1981 before gaining a bachelor's degree in law at the Mohammed V University in Agdal in 1985. In 1987, Mohammed obtained his first Certificat des études supérieures in political science, and in July 1988 he obtained a Diplôme des études approfondies in public law. In November 1988, he trained in Brussels with Jacques Delors, then President of the European Commission. Number 1. John Magufuli, President of Tanzania. He is a Tanzanian politician and the President of Tanzania since 2015. He is also the chairman of the Southern African Development Community. Magufuli started his education at the Chateau Primary School from 1967 to 1974 and went on to the Katoke Seminary in Biharamulo for his secondary education from 1975 to 1977 before relocating to Lake Secondary School in 1977 and completing in 1978. He joined Nkwawa High School for his A-levels in 1979 and completed in 1981. That same year, he joined Kwawa College of Education for a diploma in education science, majoring in chemistry, mathematics, and education. He also earned his master's and doctorate degree in chemistry from the University of Dar es Salaam in 1994 and 2009 respectively. There you have it, Explorers. Those were the top 10 most educated presidents in Africa in 2019. Let us know in the comment section below who amongst these presidents is your favorite and why. The best comment will be pinned. Thanks for watching this video. If you want us to cover any of your top 10 topics, please leave your suggestion in the comment section below and do not forget to subscribe.
In December 2019, there was a cluster of pneumonia cases in China. Investigations found that it was caused by a previously unknown virus, now named the 2019 novel coronavirus. In this video, we'll take a quick look at what's currently known about the virus. Keep in mind that this is a new virus, and what's known about the virus now might change in the future. Coronaviruses are a large group of viruses. They consist of a core of genetic material surrounded by an envelope with protein spikes. This gives it the appearance of a crown. Crown in Latin is called corona, and that's how these viruses get their name. There are different types of coronaviruses that cause respiratory and sometimes gastrointestinal symptoms. Respiratory disease can range from the common cold to pneumonia, and in most people, the symptoms tend to be mild. However, there are some types of coronaviruses that can cause severe disease. These include the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, first identified in China in 2003, and the Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus that was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012. The 2019 novel coronavirus was first identified in China. It initially occurred in a group of people with pneumonia who'd been associated with a seafood and live animal market in the city of Wuhan. The disease has since spread from those who were sick to others, including family members and healthcare staff. There are many cases at present, and the disease has spread within China and also to a number of other countries. So, where did the virus come from? It's known that coronaviruses circulate in a range of animals. Sometimes these viruses can make the jump from animals to humans. This is called a spillover and could be due to a range of factors such as mutations in the virus or increased contact between humans and animals. For example, MERS-CoV is known to be transmitted from camels and SARS-CoV from civet cats. The animal reservoir of the 2019 novel coronavirus is not known yet. How is it transmitted? The exact dynamics of how the virus is transmitted is yet to be determined. In general, respiratory viruses are usually transmitted through droplets created when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or through something that has been contaminated with the virus. People most at risk of infection from the novel coronavirus are those in close contact with animals, such as live animal market workers, and those who are caring for people infected with the virus, such as family members or healthcare workers. So, how does the disease present? Well, from what is known so far, there can be a number of symptoms ranging from mild to severe. There can be fever and respiratory symptoms such as cough and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, there's been pneumonia, kidney failure, and death. The mortality rate is not known yet. How can we tell whether someone is infected? The infection can be diagnosed by a test called PCR, or polymerase chain reaction. This test identifies the virus based on its genetic fingerprint. There's currently no specific medication for the virus, and treatment is supportive care. There's currently no vaccine to protect against the virus. Treatment and vaccines are in development. How do we prevent transmission of the virus? This new virus currently has a limited geographic spread. However, there are a number of standard hygiene practices that have been recommended to protect against infection and further spread. These include covering your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing with a medical mask, tissue, or flexed elbow, avoiding close contact with those who are unwell, the appropriate use of masks and personal protective equipment, especially in a healthcare setting, washing hands regularly with soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub. Actions that can be taken to prevent infection from an animal source include avoiding unnecessary unprotected contact with animals, washing hands after contact with animals or animal products, and ensuring that animal products are cooked thoroughly before they're consumed. It's important to stay home if you're feeling unwell, but if you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early and share your previous travel history with your healthcare provider. That's a quick look at this emerging infectious disease. Given that this outbreak is evolving rapidly, what's known about this virus can change. Please check the websites below for the most up-to-date information. In December 2019, there was a cluster of pneumonia cases in China. Investigations found that it was caused by a previously unknown virus, now named the 2019 novel coronavirus. In this video, we'll take a quick look.
There you have it there. That's a quick video there, informative one here. That's what we try to do here at Liberia Public Radio. This is strictly from WHO, World Health Organization, right? These are basic tips that will help you, that will help all of us, and that's the sort of educated programs that we always look out there for. This is a very serious one. According to WHO, about 80 countries in the world currently infected. I'm just getting that news here. We always subscribe to different news outlet, Africa News Alert. Coronavirus DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, has confirmed of a coronavirus right now. Pretty close to, I believe, 10 African countries. Now, this is not a good news. One is, let me see here, DRC confirmed in the case, Morocco to record. Someone is already reportedly dead in Morocco as the result of corona. So if you look at the history of this, is way back as 2023, 2010, but it has resurfaced in 2020. So it is not of a recent thing in the cities of Korwanyu in China. And it came out actually January the 7th, 2020. Just from January the 7th up to today's day, the 10th of February, it has taken a lot of lives. And this morning, I was listening to the Presidential Press Secretariat of the Republic of Liberia. The President of the Republic of Liberia has set up a special task force. I'll talk to our guy in NIMAT. There's some sort of public health awareness is going on. We try reaching the National Public Health Institute of Liberia. We are hoping to get a word from them to also have a conversation with them. This is all geared to make preparation to help create an awareness. These are some things that we need to be focusing. While the politics aspect is also important, but these are more important to the society, because when you have everybody dead in the society, you won't talk politics. For those of us that when you want to sneeze, you sneeze like a cow, and your viruses and things you throw in other people, we need to stop that. Because this is dangerous. You don't just know who it is. And this is now, we are now hoping we experienced Ebola a couple of years ago, and see how even this great country here is still battling. If you look at Italy now, Italy is completely locked down. And so with very limited resources and equipments in Africa, this is the last thing we want to experience. So I was happy today. I was impressed. Whether the logistics are there, but an attempt is being made. And our correspondents are speaking with him this morning from Nimba County, some public awareness, and they are carrying on all of that to the borders and all of that. So this is something we need, all of us, we need to keep eyes on as we do our different podcasts. We must try to do everything, and that's one of the reasons now that we have Professor Joel, who is a nurse and professor. Will be here for the most part Thursday as usual. We're going to be here. We're going to be giving you some other little help tips just to help you taking those universal precautions. Don't just wipe your hand on your trouser and wipe it and just the people say we must wash our hands thoroughly. That's one of the things. Those are simple things that we need to do. It's not the matter of no jam in Africa. Indeed, jams in Africa. We need to do all of that and talk to our people to educate them. Prevention is better than cure, and so we have to be proactive. And so we will try to do all of these things yet on a regular basis, things that are informative. And so the president taking that decision to set up a presidential task force also to do this here, and I'm happy from what we're seeing here from the executive mansion to website. The Institute World Bank has make available $20 million to also that is in preparation, and that's how it's supposed to be. People need to be far-sighted, be proactive, prevent crisis Managing crisis is very different. It's very difficult, and that's the difference with managing and preventing. When you manage it, is something, but when you prevent it, it means you're stopping it from coming. So it is very much important that we, all of us, or those that are in the news or some sort of information sharing, we must also help to get this going. So that's the good thing. 20 millions. That's a huge one here. And we are hoping that the Institute of Public Health in Liberia will answer our phone call, and we're going to be having them here hopefully once they agree. But I was kind of a little bit shocked when I heard from the liberal progressive Samson to Brian Toll. And this is something that we've been hearing from time to time. And so that's simply to validate the argument of what Mr. Toll was saying, because we have invited numerous government officials. Some of them will consent in coming, but not knowing that they have in the back of their minds that maybe the LPR or individuals on this network are so antagonistic to the government, they see them as an opposition. Give me a break. We give you a fair share to come and tell your side of the story. What we will not do, this institution too also has its own ethics rules that we also abide by. But maybe because most of them ask us to send pre-arranged questions, which we are not going to tie ourselves down, so we are obligated to these people to bring genuine information. And this is why we always try to make news proportionate. We do not disproportionate news. I know Mr. Toll, he has gone to Liberia, went to the Ministry of Public Works, and sometimes, we joke, but sometimes people say this guy, he doesn't need a job. He wants to be a good asset to his country. Simple as it is. So if anybody is in there in Liberia suggesting Samson Toll is talking about these roads because he wants to take somebody's job, that is a complete illusion. And even if job is offered, he has to take it. And I told him that. How can you be a help to your country when you land and you can't even get back to your country? It's not a matter of taking joy, but it's the matter of sincerity, the authenticity, the genuineness, and being fair to your country. That's what matters. It doesn't matter who, and so forth. For folks within the government, and I'm hoping to have this sort of discussion. I have invited my own friend and brother, schoolmate, graduate, Kebe Solo, who is the presidential press secretary. I don't buy anything, and I have tons of text messages here to all, if not all, good number of government officials to give their side of the story. But it seems to me, very smart Toby, we made a suggestion in the past that it would be better because most of these dramas and things that are happening is around the presidency. So it would be better to be having a regular press briefing. That way helps to minimize some of these things and to address these issues. The president don't necessarily have to come to fix the microphone. Of course, he can't, when he wants to. But that's what we see here. You see press briefing here, people sit and talk. Whether it is the fact or not, journalists will always say. But for people to point out that, this guy here. So if Samson Toll, who is a liberal guy, very moderate in his discussion, is being labeled as an opposition, then I don't want to see how Alfonso Soul is being labeled as well. But that's not going to deter us. We will do what we do. As long as we are doing it with conscience, with fairness, making the news proportionate, we will do it. And it will not stop us from extending an invitation. That was something I felt very bad. There are some good folks, there are some good elements within the CDC government. No question, no if and but about that. I've hosted Minister Zioka Wilson, all right, the spiritual advisor to the president, the vice president. And we have invited all of these people. So if for somebody to say, okay, maybe this guy, Samson Toll, is every day talking about roads, so perhaps he wants to be a minister of public works. So what? Is he not qualified to be a minister? I don't think this is what the government should base on. Government should be looking for people, competent people, not just only competent, but people who have their country at heart. This has been our argument all along. People should have their country at heart. I strongly believe, whether the Liberty Party president or CDC or whatever, once you are competent and you have your country at heart to do what is right, I think you should be given that opportunity, and nobody should think that, this person is an opposition so he can't be there. That has been the traditions in our country. When Barack Obama took over as president, what happened? Bill Gates is a Republican, but because of his performance or his role, he was maintained as Minister of Secretary of Defense. So how can we build this country? So we should build our country based on partisan. Because I'm for this party, we need to erase that. And this is why we need to be having this sort of genuine conversation. Somebody somewhere is not really properly communicating or is not telling the president. There are competent and qualified people, whether they are in the oppositions or they are within the government. I think running a campaign is quite different when you are in the governing stage. And this is why we always have civility. Our conversations is most of civility on this network. If we critique the government, we somehow put forward alternative. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. But we are providing an alternative to our country. That, okay, this is how things go, and we feel this is why it should go. That's our opinion. That's our views. It does not make it a fact. But for people to suggest that because somebody critique and they are making and here's something, when he's doing that, he illustrates. He just doesn't talk and walk away. He doesn't cause my cause. He doesn't cause par cause. He doesn't call name. Even people call him when he even calling the president's title. Doctor. I saw somebody writing a post here say he's surprised that the president to be among the 10th educator. Yes, of course. So this is why we, even in the podcast or news dissemination business, we need to go out there to find resources, because what we throw out there also exacerbate or also has the propensity to create chaos. People don't even check. Am I the one that make up this thing? Maybe if I've said that here, that Dr. Weir is the 10th educator president, it will be like, oh, LPR now is a pay agent. We need to stop this sort of silent behavior. If we want Liberia to progress, it's not about Dr. Weir. Helen Johnson Sirleaf was there yesterday. We complained. And I guarantee after George Weir presidency, we will complain and complain and complain. But I think what is important for all of us as Liberia, first and foremost, we must understand it is a sovereign country and our loyalty must be with the country. And that's why we frown on even the very CDC. Now they are in the governing stage. I can't wait to have an executive here. We're working out something to have someone to hear from maybe the lawmaker or someone for us to talk to. Who is the next person now that the CDC-led government, after George Weah presidency, as they claim 12 years, 16 years, whatever it is, but the idea George Weah will be off the scene. There will be a certain time he will no longer be a president. So is this party is just being structured or built around President Weah, and after his presidency, that's the end of the party, as we have seen in the past with the TWP, with NDP, and NDPL, Unity Party is in turmoil. Liberty Party, all of them are shaking and rumbling because they do not put in a structure. There was no adequate preparation. So these parties, they were built and centered around the individual. They didn't do enough to have them sustain as an institution that yes, even after Helen Johnson Sirleaf or Unity Party will still be there. Where is party chairman Wilman Payne? He's been expelled. So it means those people that are loyal to him, instead of living by the values of the institution, because these people are the ones that are seeking state power, there will be some folks that are going to follow what his name, that Wilman Payne. So CDC should be they should have enough case studies of the histories of our political institutions, what they have done in the past, and the reason they cannot sustain themselves. So there must be person now that the CDC government should start training, start nurturing as the next phase, even after the presidency of George Weah. But believe me, if anybody even wants to come out now to be a challenge or to be a new person or new breed of George Weah, you're going to have those sycophants and those sort of self-centered, greedy people, because they alone want to be there. They will start running to the president and start telling the president, this person wants to overthrow you, this person wants to do this person is an opposition. That's one of the things that get our country to be like this. We cannot progress if we have this sort of belief, if we have those sort of dangerous things that are dangerous for the country within our belly, and we cannot talk it out. I'm going to be putting I'm excited. I'm monitoring here at the same time, monitoring what is going on the political scene here, the primary as well. So I'm going to be putting the number there. The volume is low. Okay, let me see here. The volume is. Check your, Madam Barclay, check your. I'm saying everything looks good here. Let me see if I can elevate it. But sometimes when you get it high again, it makes it a little bit kind of awkward. So please let us do away with this sort of behaviors and begin to stigmatize people of their views, of their opinions. We need to be we need to always be, we must be able to accept people's views and their opinion, and that's what we don't do. We as Liberian, anybody that expresses his or her opinion, you've been antagonized, you've been labeled, you've been seen as someone, either the enemy or you against or you are for. No, we must learn to have this sort of civil discussion whereby it will more or less profit the country and not just the individual. Okay, so I'm going to be opening the lines up, and like I said, if you are from St. Patrick's, okay, thank you very much. Getting a signal here that the volume is okay. If you are from St. Patrick's, if you are from St. Teresa's Convent, there will be a big program, I believe, in August. I'm going to be playing the commercial here. It's a legendary detour will be there. The folks from St. Patrick's and Convent, they are building to $300,000. 300,000 United States dollars are rebuilding St. Patrick's High School. Now tell me, with this here, can someone tell me that people in the diaspora, are we not making contributions? Are we not contributing to the development initiative of Liberia? Anybody who said that, you must be stupid. And so sometimes we will curse people who needs to be cursed. We will tell people, because it seems to be people are stubborn and they are refusing to learn, and we have to make them to forcibly learn. Not because I don't send money to you personally, but people are making a contribution to the growth of the country. You have people that are going to be assembling and making 300,000. Is that a small money? Because someone feels, he or she feels, that it's not benefited individually, or they did not buy their zinc, or they didn't buy their back or rest. So it means the people in the diaspora are not doing anything. This is a sort of fear tactics and a ploy that politicians and these selfish people in Liberia, they have implanted within our people. So we in this industry, it is our responsibility. Even when somebody is building their own house, it's not an investment. Am I responsible for you to take care of you? No. If I want to do it, it's at my own volition. It must be a help. All right? So people, they got to appreciate. Yes, I know. Who told you, say, the Ghanaians or Nigerians don't have their problem? You work with some of them and listen to some of the things that happen with AIM. Do you know the development of Ghana to Nigeria? Do you think it's today's issue? It started way back. These countries, they have been advancing. But because of the deceptions, dishonesty, corrupt, we hear people in Liberia who even complain about the government, they are corrupt. Ordinary citizens are corrupt. We in the diaspora, we are corrupt. Nobody is trusted to do a piece of job, to have it completed comprehensively without them bending their fingers to get something done. Everybody wants to get something on top of something. This is why it's killing our country. But I think the president and the government of Liberia must be able to open your arm, whether you are in the opposition or you are out of the opposition, as long as you are competent. And first and foremost, you have the heart for your country to get the right thing done. I think that person must be given a chance. And for us to be judgmental because of somebody else's view, their opinion, and say, yes, this person is an opposition, so they don't even want to talk to the person. Can you imagine? If this country was behaving that way, even though they have one of the ridiculous presidents in the history of this country, Donald Trump, who have said a lot of things, but still there are some other people who are standing up to say, no, what you are doing is not good, it's divisive, it is not good for this country. How many of those people are willing to help the president? Because why? They are so protective of their job. The same as they want to be a loyalist to the president. They are now going out there to find potential or people that will help this administration to succeed. That's what they should be focusing on. They shouldn't focus on somebody coming to take their job. Suppose you not even qualify while somebody else is cancer, somebody can take your job. That's not your power creation. It is the Republic of Liberia, and every son and daughter of that land who is competent must be able to serve. You would be a fool if you learned and you qualify if your government, whether you like the government or not, and the government calls you to serve and you say you don't want to serve because it's not about George Weah. You are not going to serve George Weah. George Weah is the administrative head of the government. That is okay, gives him the respect that is due, but your commitment, honesty, and sincerity that you are taking the job, that's what matters. If you go there and you start bringing your mom and pa, uncle, nephew, nieces, 25 grandchildren then from Grand Jide and other places and want to bring them in government, then that's not George Weah for. Then it is your dishonesty and the same rookish thing we are talking about. Then you are creating problem on government. But if you go there with honesty, people, and that's why Liberian people don't like. They do not like honest people until you can drown yourself in that barrel of corruption, dishonesty, and cheating on government. Then you are the best person, and that's the problem. And this history has been from the grassroots, and we continue to grow with it. We are not doing anything to undo this sort of bad behavior, and we expect our country to develop overnight. People misuse government property. People steal from government, and when government officials steal, then the English word is modified, embezzle. But when a little man takes it, then you steal, and then by the time you go low, criminal code C, code 8, come up with some kind of investigation, it will never be concluded. Those are the ills in society all of us must frown and speak against if we want good government or good governance in our country, if we want development in our country. Now when concessions agreement is in place and people begin to apportion their own benefits, we're going to be going to their pocket or we're going to be benefiting them instead of the national cause when the money has not even come, those are things that we must frown against. The people began to apportion because they were the negotiators or they are the agitators of the concession, and they want to get their 10%, 15%, 20% share. And even before it reached the direct beneficiary, it's already 50% or 40%, 60% already gone. As a result, the project cannot be concluded. These are things we must frown against. These are good governance. And when we sit on this network, this is what we're supposed to be talking. And that's where the disappointment comes from those who profess to be the voice of voices of the opposition. Because they themselves, they talk nonsense. They don't say anything tangible. They are not convincing. They call names. They curse people. How the hell you expect somebody to listen to you? If I'm speaking for the opposition, if I decide to take to see, I don't even trust them, first and foremost. While we have the big elephant in the room, I don't even trust the opposition. Their behavior, very ridiculous. They cannot even come to a consensus. Over a year now, they can't even come to a consensus to tell me why they are the alternative to this government. Why it is true. There are a lot of things that we can talk about, but they are not creating the conversation. Even the lawmakers, some of them that are there, they are not working across the aisle. They are not being persuasive. If you listen to Classic D, he has his own. When you listen to Francis Doe, they get their own. You Henry Costa, men with the biggest platform, they are misusing the beauties of the essence of communication. If they could sit and point out those ills in government, where they think the government is falling short, and give a refined tone, seasoned tone, a perfect communication. The various seditions who also voted the government, there are some who are not satisfied, they will listen to you. But you want to critique me, you're talking about you cussing me, you think I'm not going to sit with you on the table to talk. Why am I going to talk to you? I'm not going to talk to you. Say it's going to be fire, put a fire. You come with fire, I will come with fire. That's why, look, that's what power struggle does. It's because folks, whether their leadership approve of them or now or not, but the issue is they are not being denounced. They do these things, they make some ridiculous statements, and the leaders, they don't say anything. What happens when John McCain was on the campaign trail? And somebody spoke an incendiary word. John McCain went and took that microphone. He said, no, Barack Obama is a decent man. I will not accept this in my camp. How many of us willing to do that? Opposition man will be doing his podcast, and somebody will be insulting the president. Then they lie, KKKKK. Government official man will be on the podcast, and somebody is insulting. And they do not have the courage or guts to say no. In as much this person here disagree with us, let's listen. You have to be a keen listener. And that's the only way to achieve. But everybody behaving the same. And they expect the country to prosper. And they expect the miracle to take place. How many months to the senatorial election? Where are the candidates? If we all know these Booker's concessions or agreements, or they call in brown envelope, I'm not saying anything tangible. Well, that's why people say, I don't dwell on circumstantial evidence. No. When you ask people, you say you can't see it. That's not a fact that you're going to take in a court of competent jurisdictions. It's all because of ignorance. We talk, we hear people talk. We do not even ask questions. We do not even go beyond to find out what is what. And you would never get the source of that information. Or they're going to say you can't see. Well, probably you get different eyes. I don't. But the bottom line here is we must all know it is the Republic of Liberia is greater than all of us. And we need to recognize that. And I'm not saying the evidence of the kind of conversation that this opposition they are creating. We are hearing CDC is heavily preparing to bring in Mary Brough. And if Mary Brough is to come as a senatorial candidate in Moserado County, I'm telling you, that's going to be a big fight. That's going to be a big fight. What is the opposition? Who are those candidates now? What is the preparation they are making? Why it is true that they are what a couple of retreat they have, I have a different version of it, that my own understanding, my own opinion, that does not make it right. But in political retreat, it means they're going to sit down somewhere, not just only going in the street, unless there's a different interpretation. That is okay. That's how they're going to arrange it. But I think when you have in a retreat, you go back and begin to retrospect, you begin to make a calculation to where you fall short and think some of the policies and things, strategies you're going to be put in place, and you come with a condensed consensus moving forward. This is how we're going to be doing as a party. This is how we're going to be doing as an institution as the elections draws near, as we go towards the 2023 presidential election, and not just only throwing people out in the street there. I don't know what is the essence strategies of that, but that's another way to create a political fear in the opponent that yes, we are still here and we can come back. So what is the strategy of the opposition now as well? Who are they putting out there for us to vet that person to say yes, okay, you can go in there? They are not doing it. They're still having a power struggle. Alexander Cummings wants to be president. Benin Ayure wants to be president. Joseph Boyka should be like a role model now to begin to nurture the young breed for responsibilities. Why is he still running to be president? That is constitutional right. I understand. So when will he give way to the young generation? 12 years you serve. We have to look in people's faces and tell them today's society is not as of yesterday. Does he still have that physical strength to see all that is ongoing in Liberia. That physical strength, it said, still there to go inside my town, be it a war where there is no road, and reach to the people and tell them and sit with them. Does he still have that strength to move, to fly here and there to lobby? I am not sure. And I have all reason to draw my own personal conclusions considering his age. But there are some other things that he can do to help the process. Benana Yuri, if they are popular, why they can't even contest as representatives, as senators? John Kessie went as a presidential hopeful in the U.S. He didn't win. What happens? He contested for governorship. He was governor for 2 years in Ohio. And there was changes. There was changes. He brought a lot of changes. He did his part. He served his country. You don't necessarily have to be the president to serve your country. Because the reason people are fighting for that is because the presidency or the executive branch of government asserts authority over other branches of government, and as a result, they also compromise. They do a lot of things to enrich themselves. Probably that could be the probable reason for which I see these people. They are all fighting to be president of the Republic of Liberia. But we need to take the bottom to top approach. If we feel the Senate or the House of Government, which is the legislative branch of government, is the problem, then we need to fix that first. Because if you don't fix that, you think you want to go to the presidency, it will be the same thing. How do you think the president's agenda is approved? It comes from both houses of government. So if you can have trusted men and women that have their country at heart, you take the presidency, whether Alexander Cumming, Joseph Boyka, or what his name said, Benana Yuri becomes president today, and you still have those same people, certain lawmakers that people claim that they are taking brown envelope, passing false and dubious concession. In most cases, their actions also speaks to that. Then it's like you just putting that person there because he or she agenda will not go through, because the president just can't do it by himself. So I'm not sure whether they are having that sort of second thought. They are not. So all of us are responsible to see what is ongoing in our country. But somebody is leading the captain, somebody is leading the boat, and that's the president. So there are some other reason here for which people are making the argument. But if the opposition, if they see themselves as the last hope, or as a person who to rescue that this government is not doing what is right, which of course this government, they have done a lot of things we yet to get answers for. Whether they are providing those answers, I don't know, and I don't think so. But is the opposition to doing the right thing? Are they proving themselves as the alternative? Or okay, they may not doing this, so we want to be. Or because of the flex rules that we have. Anybody wake up in the morning, everybody knows now you're a lawmaker, the bonuses, the salaries, the benefits that comes with it, they want to be senator, they want to be representative. And we as a citizen, we do not even have the guts to ask the people why they want to be. Some of these people have been there 10 years, 11 years, and when you talk to people, because we call on a daily basis, some of these people do not have a single office or offices in their constituent. They don't go there. The only time they're going to see there comes this election. And potentially, because we are not creating the conversation, because the opposition is not leaving the capital to go and sit with those people, to listen to them, to allow them to be part of the process. Those people, they're going to use what we call financial violence because of poverty. Of course, we talk about them, but it's two-way streets. You in Liberia there, you got 4, 5, 10 children, you got women, and your house is leaking. You're in the house, you're looking out sky, and somebody come and buy you 1 or 2 bundles of zinc. Don't you think the possibility of voting that person? Yeah, because you think about how you're going to survive today. You don't even know how your day is going to end, and you think you want to think about future. So there are compound, complex social issues that are entangled what is going on in our country until we can sit as a people, as a government, as a nation to address and create a genuine conversation. This will be ongoing. There's no evidence that it's going to come to an end, even after George Weah. Because those even who wants to succeed George Weah, they are not going to these people to sit down with them and look up to see what is over their head. They are not doing it. They sit in Moravia there and they just think everything is okay. And then time comes, they think that they're just going to go there and twist the minds of the people. But I can tell you, Liberia is gradually transforming. And this is the ultimate goal of the Liberia Public Radio, for us to make our presence felt in each the 15 political subdivisions. How long that take, God once knows. But as long we are alive, and our folks are committed guys, I meant Tindo right there in Banga has been taking a tour, and those guys are really ready to making an ultimate sacrifices. We don't pay them, it's out of that's their contribution to the country, to their community, to the society. And the rest of the staff here, the Samson To, the Nutcry, the Manzola Gisi, the Allen Jeru, and all of these people. All of us can be on the batching end and bash people or cause or, can create a savoured conversation for the good of the country. Then we are not doing good for the country as well. But it is important that we as a people, that we take a second thought. The senatorial election is around the corner. 15 political subdivisions they will be contesting. And we have had a conversation that the people that are currently in the house, both houses of government, they are not doing what is right. I want to know who are those people the opposition bringing. I want to talk to them. You need to know what their plans, how they're going to do it differently. Or are we waiting on the eve before they will come to an agreement? What sort of opposition that can't even have, they don't have a strategy. They can't agree. The leaders are forcing among themselves. Their supporters are clashing with one another, biting them, struggling who is popular, who is not popular, who can produce more crowd, who can produce more crowd. We don't have time for that. That's not what I'm going to realize. That's not what's going to make Liberia better for me. So if you're lucky to get people like Samson To, who is a trained engineer, who has left from here to go and teach the young generation, the young folks, out of his own volition, out of his own will, out of his own pocket, to the extent has gone to the Ministry of Public Works to provide his expertise. And they did not even play him mind, because somebody has planted this within their mind. Yes, Samson To is an opposition. Alfonso So is an opposition because he talks about he did not talk about these people. The very Darius Dillon. I drove to Senator Darius Dillon house on the last year on the eve of Armed Forces Day when I went for my brother's funeral. I called him and went to his place. Since he became senator, how many times? So the same attitudes of the government, folks, is the same behavior of the opposition. You call them, they will scratch their hair and they will think and they will ask million people, is he one of us? Before they can come on your network, because they want a breakfast table questions, and that's not what we do here. That's not the core values of the Liberia Public Radio. We ask genuine and authentic questions that the ordinary citizen needs to know. Those are the things that we talk about here. So where is he? You call their name, you send them text message, they don't even respond. The professor, they don't see it. Eugene Fagon, when he was talking for the CDC government, LPR was his ground. Now, it is where it is. Only very few people. And this is where I gave Minister Ziokat Wilson a credit. Anytime, any hour, and even Serena Cephas, who was the Solicitor General. In as much he has his own thing, but this guy, he doesn't shy away. Any hour, midnight, you send Serena Cephas a text message, Minister Ziokat Wilson, unless he's not online. Out of a courtesy, they will return your call, and they will all be available. Whether he's saying it right, he's saying it wrong, but the idea he's making himself available as a servant, to answer questions or have a dialogue. That's how you make progress. So when you are comments and you just think you want to go to, maybe you're sending to a program or maybe Duke or whatever, the same way with the other people, CDC, you just want to go to Prince Shari or Michael Gilmont or whatever the case, what? Unfortunately, we are not going to devalue our own set rules on this network because we want to satisfy the curiosities of the individual. As long it does not represent the interest of the country, then you and us going to have for some sort of huge policies of different. I'm going to put a number out here for a little bit, and we're going to have a conversation here, if you will. I'm also taking away here with the primary what is going on here. See here a second victory on Super Tuesday right here. There are some good projections coming here from CNN. I'm monitoring here on my own network, but they're quite amazing. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Let me put a number out here, and I'm going to take a quick commercial commitment, and I will be right back.
Hello, how you doing? This is Uncle Musa, the owner of Uncle Musa Grocery in Philadelphia. The first store is Uncle Musa Grocery, Philadelphia, 6523 Wallen Avenue. And Uncle Musa Urban Faction, 6519 Wallen Avenue. And Uncle Musa Grocery, 804 Gary Road, Upper Darby, Philadelphia. We carry all African products, food, clothing, mostly Liberian food. If you need anything from Liberia, just call Uncle Musa Grocery. You can go to Google. If you say Uncle Musa Grocery, Google will take you ahead to show you where to get us. So whatever you need from Liberia, if you go to any Uncle Musa Grocery, we will make sure you get what you want. And if you want to send rice to Liberia, we will send rice to Liberia and deliver to your family. They don't need to pick it up. And if you decide for them to pick up to our store in Morovia too, we have a store in Cow Factory. You can pick it up there, but mostly we deliver rice to your family member, and we send money to Liberia. All over the world, we send money. So welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery anytime. I will make sure all my workers and myself will have a very good customer service. You'll be taken care of the way you want it. And we'll have a clothes from Dubai, India and China. We carry all that. We carry lappers, very good lappers, quality one from Holland. Whatever you want from Uncle Musa Grocery or Uncle Musa Home Infection, yes, you can get it.
This is Uncle Musa and Grocery Enterprise here, and I mean is well equipped with a lot of goods, African goods, anything you want, especially many supplies that we have for our programs in the church community. We've been having a lot of programs, especially community gathering, fundraising program. We get all our goods here, anything we want. And so African goods like cassava leaf, potato grain, those are the things that we use, for our African program here. So we get everything here. And so especially you bring in a lot of supply for our church program, a lot of instruments from Africa, salsa, samba, and even the motor pencils and everything from Africa. We get everything here. Even the lappers and other material that the women in the church get, we get everything from his store here. So his store is well equipped with a lot of goods, it's well full with a lot of material that you want here. Palm butter, a lot of things, rice, fish. We get everything here. And you have a lot of stores. You have about 4 different stores here. You have these stores and the other lab store that you see here with clothing and shoes, other materials you will see in the lab store. And the first store that he has under the tree there. And so you will see
family. Day 1, the masquerade ball. Day 2, annual business meeting and evening of elegance with special guest performance by D12. Day 3, family day and fundraiser, culminating with the all pink and white jazz night. So tell a frisky, tell a friend, tell a saint. For more information, Visit us at www.stcspHS.com or call 404-317-7122 or 404-593-8961. See you there. Calling all saints and Friskies, we're shutting down the ATL on Memorial Day weekend with 3 days of activities for the whole family.
Do me, I do you, when you hold me, I hold you, when you touch me, I touch you, when you play me, I play you, let me see you do do them, I go.
The tax season is here again, and one thing you want is you don't want to go to people who will, a lot of the times we see in our community, they will mess your tax up and then they are nowhere to be found. So, I mean, my records are there. All of my clients, they have never had any issues. So, I'm available, like I said, throughout the year, and this tax season, I'm ready to roll. You can contact me. My phone number is 267-265-7903, 267-265-7903. And my address where I do the business is 539 South 4th Street, Darby, PA 19023. 539 South 4th Street, Darby, PA 19023. And you can see my office is right here. Everything is set up, the computer, my printer, everything is set up. And since the tax season started, that's all I've been doing. And again, I do a lot for my clients. Like I said, I help them. Even if you have filed your taxes in the past with other people and you have had problem, and then your problem have not been resolved, and the IRS keep writing you, whole lot of letters, you can't understand what these letters are, you can call me and then I will explain to you exactly what to do. If you owe the IRS and you want to make payment plan, I'm available. I can help you set up a payment plan with the IRS.
Some of our quick commercial commitment, we have to get that going. This is what that is keeping us up here too, to make sure that we peel and keep commitment with some of our own bills and stuff here. But again, if you are from St. Patrick's or St. Teresa's Convent, they will be having a program that is in Atlanta, Georgia, I believe around the 26th. But by next Thursday, I will be hosting the presidents of the Alumni Association of St. Teresa's Convents in St. Patrick's. St. Patrick's more like boys, and then St. Teresa's Convent girls in Liberia. Those days, you know them. But they are involved in a massive initiative, over $300,000, rebuilding of St. Patrick's High School. We're going to be talking to our folks to see that, and that's what we try to do, to authenticate, to also verify information. But in our initial conversation, it seems to be that they are doing well, and that's why we need to be going out there, people that are making meaningful contribution to the growth and the economic and social growth of the country. It's not just only having a minister of government or lawmaker or director and always talk about corruption. So then we are not proportioning the news and sharing. They are ordinary citizens, they are organizations, they are individuals, they are group on their district wings and social organizations. They are making the investment. We must call these people the opportunity to tell the narrative, to tell us what they are doing as well. I think that's what news is all about, not just only focus on one aspect. So we're going to be having the president here tonight. D12, we learned that D12 will be there to grace that occasion. And I just heard from my own folks here this evening in Rhode Island that we're going to be a next weekend, the honoring program. I'm also hearing that D2 are going to be here right here in our own ocean state of Rhode Island. He's a very talented, very good artist. So if you are within the proximity of Atlanta, Georgia, get ready to brace the man D2 jump over here. You saw the president jumping over here, right? So that has elevated his music as well. He was in Liberia. Which function was that? He was the guest. Yeah, he was there. So you're gonna be coming. That's another way of giving back to your community by just coming to perform. I do not know the term and arrangement, but the idea he making himself available, that's giving back to the country as well, because it's a genuine cause. The fundraisers eventually are going to give them cash and they're going to complete the project. The building of St. Patrick's High School, that's huge. So we must also be we must give them we must employ them for that, and even employ him to make himself available. So we got to be going out here and there to make sure things that are good for the country, and the government has to do it right. The opposition have to do it right. Being an opposition, even the government is not doing it right, does not necessarily give you the easy pass that we can also question your authenticity. How long people look? Don't get yourself fooled over and over and over. The reason you are a human being and you are different from animal is to have a second thought, to put your five senses to work. Somebody can mislead you for the first time, but it can be consistent. They can't do it yesterday, do it today, do it day after tomorrow. Then you are not behaving like a normal person. So even the very CDC, they were in the opposition yesterday, right? And they told us there are things they're going to do. Now, that's why it makes it different or difficult when you are in a governing stage. It's different when you are outside of the game. So we must learn a lesson. So those that are also outside now, when they come in, we got to look at their toenails. If they are not diabetes patient, if they are, then they need to be going to pediatrics to make sure that the nails are cut. So we have to check and cross-check all of these people. We don't want to be making mistakes. We don't want to always, if I knew I would have done this. No, that's not right. I think we must, and all in all, we are doing it for the good of our country. It's not necessarily that we are against an individual or a particular political party. That's not the case. We all just want to make sure we are on track, we are doing what is right for the good of our country. What I am eager now to see is, because it looks like results are coming in for tonight primary that is ongoing. I also have interest in following the political process here in the USA as well. So folks, we're going to leave it here. We're going to be having this conversation again Thursday. I'm going to be having Professor Joy here, but we are contemplating some making the changes on Friday, and as usual, all things considered, will stand as a Thursday. But we also want to be looking at some of the things now. Every now and then, there's an outbreak of some sort of stuff. So we want to also be bringing educational information, tips for people to know what is going on. So Professor Joel will be here with me every Thursday. Now on this Thursday, we're going to be doing this Thursday, but hopefully we'll come to a conclusion. Following week, it will be like every Friday, like 12 midday, while we want to have this information also share with our brothers and sisters in the country in providing some of these health tips. This is something that is very good. We have to broaden our conversation on this network. It's not just on the politics. We want to have the artists and all involved. There are other people who also find pleasure or who also find good in different aspects. So that's what makes it a news. We're not just going to be stagnant here with one thing, representative, senator, president, this, that. No, that's not what we're going to be doing here. Yeah, we'll be having multiples of a variety of discussion here. And we are just hoping and praying that we'll stuff en route to Liberia, because this is where the bulk of the game is. Because I know 1008 can't wait to get rolling, so we know what's going on in Bond County. We want to know what's going on in Nima County, in Grangeda County, in Riverside, in Maryland. These are places we have the stories that needs to be told. Those are places we need to bring things that are happening in the country. Not necessarily in Moserado County. People in Moserado County, they are fine. They're fine. They say they got every day they're drinking beer. But there are people in those urban areas that can't even get it. Or there are some things that are ongoing and nobody is not giving the story what is happening. We need to go out there to get those stories along. And the opposition, if they mean business, before I wrap up, They need to go in those urban places and talk to those people. What are their concerns, or what are the stories that they have not heard before? And not just only sit on Facebook or sit in Morovia. You go on T-Mac show or whatever and just talk and talk and talk. And the people are not feeling your physical presence to have that sort of conversation, to have that dialogue. But yet you want to be the leader of the people. That's just been disingenuous. I see it not being honest. Go and sit with them. See their condition. See the life, the sort of life that they are living. Probably it will help in making informed decision. I want to thank you so much. It's 9:02. I want to pack up from here to see it. It's better late than never. To our own brother and friend, Mr. James Double, right here in my own ocean state of Rhode Island. One of our stern supporter here to the work of the Liberia Public Radio. To better late than never. But I want to thank all of you for tuning in here this evening. What is important in this network is the message that we're going to be bringing forth. Does that mean whatever thing that we're going to be saying, it might be 100% or we are the perfect people? That's not the case. But we'll try to do the best we can. And this is why we are open to be critiqued. We're not going to be the other people you criticize and they get very because you know. Come and criticize, or perhaps we will a little bit toss over it because we want to argue our point and you also at liberty to argue your point. That's what it's all about. But we feel when we come to this sort of conversation here, civility comes first. We must come with open mind. Don't come because you're going to say A, you think that's all to A. Somebody must want to ask you why. And you must have that tolerance, discipline to explain yourself. Now when they ask you why, then something just comes from out of you. No. And that's the only thing we don't condone here. That's why we don't shut people off. Unless, I can't even remember for us black. I know there was a gentleman that was black at one time. We ended up on doing that because they were being very disrespectful disrespectful to the anchor, and we send them message inbox to stop. And the thing that they were stubborn like sheep, so we ourselves stubborn like cow or goat, so we end up taking that action. That's it. But other than that, you come here, you can disagree with me, and say you lie. I don't see it to be anything. We can argue. We must be able to have civility. That's how this country is here. So they will do all their things, but when they sit, you saw when the impeachment process was going, the Republican was sitting on this side, the Democrat was sitting on the other end. The Republican feels there was no justifiable reason for which the president should be impeached. The Democrat felt there was a justified reason for which the president should be impeached. But what they were doing, they create that civility, that questions, and were just arguing their point time by time, point by point. At the end of the day, the presider, the law, the judge, or the Supreme Court decision was taken, and that's it. Whether you like it or not, but the idea, it went through a process, and we need to respect that. It doesn't mean because it doesn't go our way. So all what you see happening in Liberia, they are all happening here. The president here now caused people before, now caused women, now say all kinds of things. So it's no different. It's the same thing going on. Even sometimes it's more than what is happening in Africa. Some of the things that are happening here, if it happens in Africa, they will come and say, oh, they're the president, that person stepped down. But in the history of this country here, for the very first time, we are seeing some really bizarre things coming from the Oval Office. This is not a justification of things that is being done badly in Liberia. I'm just saying, as every day goes by, changes in life, things just happening. So we have to accustom to it and get used to it and be able to find solution to those problems instead of adding up to the problem. And the government needs to play her share to make sure the citizens are also protected. People who want to exercise, I'm hoping to have Savage here as well. People who want to demonstrate, they can demonstrate. And I've said that before. Demonstrating is not a thing. But they must also always climax their demonstration with a resolution. Whether the people will accept it or not, there must be a resolution. There must be there must be a reason why they are demonstrating, and things that the thing that is not being done rightfully, they can submit that. You put them on record. That's how it is. So I'm looking forward for us to be having this sort of conversation. This is the kind of conversation we want to keep here. If you want to cause, there are other tons of platforms where you can go and cause my cause, cause grandma cause. That's okay. The people say that freedom of speech. But we strongly fuse here, freedom of speech here, there must be a limitation. In as much you want to express your freedom of speech should not infringe on another person's freedom of speech. Then that's what we're going to have a problem with. So there's certain language, tone of language we do not accept here, and that's not anything we're going to compromise. We just want to make that vehemently clear. This is something we have to do. We have to be disciplined. If our country is to be good, we have to be disciplined. We have to respect our leaders. We can disagree with them, but we must, because you do it today, believe me or not, they're going to do it to you tomorrow, and it might be worse. So then the argument would be, they do it yesterday that what we're doing. You saw the comparison now, people are doing that. CDC demonstrated yesterday, so we're demonstrating now. So tomorrow, there's people that are causing now, when another president comes in, they will say, oh, okay, your cause yesterday, we causing today. Wow, I'm getting a little surprised here. Okay, folks, that does it this evening. I'm Alfonso Zien Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPRO TV. Thank you, and I will be right back here on Thursday with All Things Considered. In the meantime, join the liberal progressive Samson Brown Toll in tomorrow's editions of Conversation with Samson Toll. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Day 1, the Masquerade Ball. Day 2, annual business meeting and evening of elegance with special guest performance by D12. Day 3, family day and fundraiser, culminating with the all pink and white jazz night. So tell a frisky, tell a friend, tell a saint. For more information, visit us at www.stcspHS.com or call 404-317-7122 or 404-593-8961. See you there. Calling all saints and friskies, we're shutting down the ATL on Memorial Day weekend with 3 days of activities for the whole family. Day 1, the Masquerade.